Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. It's Democracy Apparently. Labour's damage control mission implodes live on air. Wow. This is the sound of a government under serious pressure. This week has seen Keir Starmer's Labour trying to put out fire after fire only for their damage control mission to spectacularly backfire. It's exposing serious cracks at the heart of the government. So let's get into it. It all kicked off with Science Secretary Liz Kendall being sent out on a desperate damage control mission this Sunday. Her task was to tour the TV studios and defend the Prime Minister, who is fighting for his political life over the exploding Lord Mandelson scandal. The mission was to convince the public that Keir Starmer's judgment wasn't fatally flawed. But if you look at this video in a second, you'll see that all she does is stumble from one question to another. You can see their hesitation because the answers she's giving she doesn't really believe, and it all boils down to the fact that she was trying to gaslight the whole country, but we all see through it. This tough assignment was doomed from the start. Kendall was sent out with an unbelievable story to sell, and the interviews quickly unravelled, showing just how deep the chaos at the heart of this government really is. When you're sending senior ministers out to defend the indefensible, it's clear your entire strategy is crumbling. Take a look at this.
The Prime Minister has lost his Chief of Staff, his Director of Communications. Tim Allen has resigned this morning. It feels like number 10 is in freefall. Can the Prime Minister survive?
Yes.
You really believe
I
that?
believe he can and he should, because I think I remember only too well, Beth, one of the reasons why the country elected us was because they were sick of all the changes in leadership under the Conservatives. And I think it would be wrong after barely 18 months after our election for people to think that they can just change the leader and everything will go right. I think that is not the right approach. But I do believe that we need to steady the ship, but we also need to change course, because the public wants to see change in the country. They want a government and a party that they can trust, that they believe we need to clean up politics, that they believe that violence against women and girls is unacceptable. And I believe the Prime Minister should be given the space to make sure that it's not just his words, but the action we need to make sure that we deliver as a Labour government.
Do you think that the MPs are going to give him that space? Because it feels to me like he could be going at any point.
I would urge my colleagues to think about, the dog end of the Tories, where they were constantly changing leaders. That was one of the things people were very angry and fed up about in the country. They wanted clear and stable leadership. Keir Starmer should be given the space to be able to do that. He has acknowledged the decision to appoint Mandelson was a mistake. He has apologised, rightly so, to the victims. But people also want to see not just words, but actions. Deeds, not words. That's what the suffragettes said. And I am absolutely convinced that the Prime Minister understands that and he will act. He will act in the interests of the country.
And that's just part of several interviews she gave Sunday morning, trying to defend her Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, and shore up the support for him. And if that wasn't enough, the government is bogged down in the Lord Mandelson scandal. The Prime Minister is fighting for his political life after appointing Peter Mandelson as US Ambassador, apparently after he failed security vetting due to links with Jeffrey Epstein. And the fact of the matter is that Keir Starmer knew that he had links to Jeffrey Epstein, and he should have known that he would have failed the vetting. The official line is that Keir Starmer simply didn't know. They claim it was a serious mistake by the Foreign Office, which supposedly overruled the advice without informing the PM. They are asking the public to believe the Prime Minister was clueless about the security risks of his own appointee. It's an unbelievable defence of staggering incompetence, and it's doing little to quell the storm. It's just chaos, isn't it? If you think the government's spin machine is falling apart and you want to support commentary that cuts through the noise, then do me a favour, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps. It doesn't cost anything, it just helps us to keep producing content that you enjoy. Now, the backdrop to all of this is a series of car crash interviews that only made things worse. While Kendall was on the air trying to defend the Prime Minister, her arguments fell apart under the slightest scrutiny. She was skewered by interviewers for failing to explain how the Prime Minister could be so unaware of such a major decision. But instead of shutting the story down, she breathed new life into it. Her floundering performance became the story itself, a perfect symbol of a government that has lost control of the narrative. This wasn't damage control, it was a live on-air implosion that threatened to take the government down with it. So, what does this all add up to? We have a government whose damage control strategy is in flames. We have a Prime Minister whose judgment is being seriously questioned over a major diplomatic appointment, and we have senior ministers being sent out with a message that is failing to convince anyone. And this isn't just a bad week for Labour, this is a sign of a government struggling to impose its will and a Prime Minister who is losing his grip. The damage control mission hasn't just failed, it's thrown petrol on the fire. And the question now is not if, but when this all comes crashing down. What do you think? Is this the beginning of the end for Keir Starmer? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next video.